Hello everybody, Lesson 6 Part 3, Rec 250 Online Summer Session 1. Okay, so we're talking about developing facilitator group trust, and knowing that trust is the platform or even the bedrock or the pillar for helping groups experience positive learning and growth. Without trust, they don't feel safe, they feel threatened, and they're not going to learn anything. In fact, they're going to be more defensive. Their comfort zone is going to be smaller, and they won't open up. And if they don't open up and let the group and let everybody know who they are, let you in, so to speak, nothing's going to happen. So we want that trust to be developed. And we've been talking about that and the ethical boundaries that should surround every interpersonal skill-based facilitator, so people are not damaged and people are not hurt, emotionally hurt by leaders, but that they feel safe and they feel comfortable and they feel motivated to experience challenge and take a risk and learn and grow as the result. Now I want to talk a little bit about behavior change and or behavior growth. Looking on page 29 in your note packet, we have the three elements of character. And I know that I believe lesson 1 or lesson 2 discuss the difference between personality and character, or the moral realm, or this interpersonal realm. Okay, personality is hardwired. It is who you are. You are a certain way. Your interpersonal realm is a realm that grows, that changes, that can be developed, contrary to popular belief. Remember, you can be a positive contributor to society, or you can be a victim. When you have a victim mindset, you don't believe that you need to change. You believe that everyone else needs to change. But when you are a positive contributor to society, someone who has the ability or the willingness to do that, then you believe that you are personally responsible for some part of the change in the world, and so that you will grow your interpersonal self. Okay, and that means you will challenge yourself or do certain things so that you can be a better person. And so if we're looking at a note packet on page 29, it's the three elements of character. It says moral knowing, moral action, and moral feeling. And as a leader, we want to understand the differences and the interconnectedness of these three concepts. The first thing I want to talk about is moral action. What moral action is: a positive deed, a positive behavior, something positive that an individual does in a group setting, by themselves, with one person. Okay, it doesn't matter. It is a positive action. For example, a positive action of trust, okay, or honesty could be opening up and telling the truth. Could be showing that oneself is trustworthy. Okay, so a moral action is a good deed, a positive deed, something that's genuine, something that's sincere. And we need those things in the world, and those things are also very important in relationships. Who wants to be in a relationship with someone that has no moral actions? They don't do anything for the other person. They do everything for themselves. They have no moral actions of kindness or honesty or empathy or any of these things that are very dear in relationships, not just with a significant other or with a parent, but in work-based relationships, okay, acquaintances, friends, okay, all need to have moral actions. Why would you want to hang out with someone that doesn't have any moral actions towards you? So moral feeling is the second one. And moral feeling, this is important because this is the connection that you have with the term and or the behavior. So the connection, do you know what it's like to feel trust? Can you feel trustworthy? Do you have the feeling, you know what it likes when you're in a trusting relationship, what that feels like? It feels comfortable, it feels secure, it feels safe. This is moral feeling, where you have the feeling, the emotional feeling surrounding the topic, the concept, whatever it is. The feeling of being trusted, okay, and being trustworthy. That's a very powerful feeling. And you know that you have a very important and very positive relationship when you have those feelings. And it can be other feelings, any other moral feeling. Okay? And these two components and these two parts are usually very easy to understand. Okay? You've got moral action, you've got moral feeling, and they're interrelated. So you do the action, you feel the feeling. Okay, and vice versa. Okay, you may feel the feeling, and that may bring an action, or an action may bring a feeling. Okay, they work together. Okay, so you do something nice for your significant other. Okay, and that's a moral action, and then you feel closeness, you feel trust. That's the moral feeling. That's how it works. Now, there's one more component here that's important, and it's important for us to understand. That without this component, without these three components, you don't have a long-term change or a long-term growth pattern or something that's significant. Because somebody can experience moral action and moral feeling, but then turn around and do something that's unmoral, okay, or something that would be negative. Okay, so we talk about in Rec 120. We talk about all the forms of recreation, but we say yes, some recreation forms are negative. Of course they are. There's many recreation forms out there that you'll end up losing your life if you keep doing them. Those are negative. Okay, so there are some moral actions and moral feelings that would be the opposite. But to understand how this all works together from a leader's point of view, is we need to know, what is moral knowing? Well, moral knowing is what's called the why component. In quotations, the why component. It's understanding, why am I doing this? Why should I be trustworthy? Okay, now that's a big philosophical question right there. Well, why should you? Does it provide you gain in life? Okay, or does it make life more difficult? So why? You tell me. Why should you be a trustworthy person? In fact, why should you even have ethical leadership style? Why should you even care about other people? Okay, these are big philosophical questions. We don't want to go there. We want to assume that everyone agrees that we should have some sort of moral fiber in our lives, and if that is agreed upon, then moral knowing would mean that you have something to connect. You have a reason behind you doing the moral things that you do. It's a simple reason. Some people might do it because they feel strong about it. They feel like, well, gosh, you should just be a trustworthy person because you should. But why? Well, because you should. Okay, it might be a personal reason like that. Could be a religious reason. Could be a metaphysical reason. Could be, well, I was just raised that way. Okay, like a family status reason. Okay, could be, well, that's just good for success. Could be a career-based reason. Whatever reason it is, there has to be one. Because if there's no reason, there's no motivation. If there's no motivation, there's no action or feeling. So you cannot say, you cannot do a moral action or have a trustworthy feeling if you don't believe that trust is important or being trustworthy is being important. And that means if you don't have a why component, some reason to do it, then you won't do it at all. So, as leaders, this is important. As leaders, we need to provide opportunity to explore the why component. So if you're teaching your team, a team you're working with, about being effective communicators, there must be a reason why the group would even consider working on their communication skills in the first place. There must be a motivation. There must be a reason. And if you can help them understand what that reason is, or discover, most importantly, even discover what that reason is, then great. Because now that they have a reason, that's the glue. That's the motivation they need, and now they will start experiencing, or moral feeling, experiencing the feeling of being in effective communication, which is a good feeling. To know people are listening to you, amazing feeling. And having moral action, like, oh gosh, it feels good to be listened to, so I'm going to listen to somebody else. And now the team has effective communication. But it starts with them understanding why. Why should they do it? Because it'll increase the bottom line. Why should they do it? Because they'll make more sales. Which is, I guess, the same thing I just said. But there's got to be solid reason. That's the why component. A solid reason that will push somebody to act, to motivate them to act, moral action, moral feeling. So draw a circle around moral action, page 29. Draw a circle around moral feeling and a circle around moral knowing. Nice big circles, and that's how they all interconnect. All three concepts interconnect, but the most challenging one for groups is for them to understand what moral knowing is, which is the why component. They have to have a belief or a reason to do the action, to feel the feeling. There has to be, well, why should I do this? And as leaders, you can help them with that, because oftentimes you've been down this road before with other groups, and you might have a good list of reasons of why it's important to effectively communicate, to be honest, to be trustworthy, to be accountable. Lots of reasons out there of why to do those things and how they directly benefit the group and the group's overall health.